Well, hello everybody. Haven't done a podcast in a while. Kind of get out of the groove. You don't know what to do. You're like, what do I do now? So, yeah. Sorry, I've been playing a lot of games with a couple buddies. I grew up in that generation. We had games and shit. So I'm kind of doing Black Ops 6 and stuff. Red Dead. It's sad. We used to do Red Dead Redemption all the time. There was always wagons to steal. There was people to shoot. Now everybody goes in defensive mode, and it's a fucking shame. I mean, if you guys play Red Dead, you guys got to go back to the old way. We used to have cowboys and Indian fights because there was like a lot of people that were Indian, and they did their own little Indian groups. It was fucking fun as fuck. We'd steal each other's wagons and blow each other up and piss everybody off and talk shit the whole time while we were doing it. There's nothing funner than that. But it's been going on the wayside for a while, so it really sucks about Red Dead. If I could make it a thing again, I would make Red Dead a thing again. As a matter of fact, if you guys play that game or have played it, get back on that game. It's fun. Let's just do it. Let's not let Red Dead go. Let's keep on playing it so much that we force them to make another one. I mean, they've made like 20 fucking Call of Duties. That's what we've been doing lately. We've been doing COD, Black Ops 6. That game's fucking great too. It's been leading me not to do my podcasting because I don't get off that fucking thing till really late at night. And it's like, well, it's already really late at night when I usually do my podcast. So I don't know. The whole thing's kind of messed up. But nevertheless, here I am again. Was able to go off early enough to do a podcast for the night, and so I'll do one. I've been doing the last couple live, as a matter of fact, on YouTube. I tried it through this one thing I'm using right now to edit this shit and stream it, and it's I still trying to figure it out. I work, so I'm not like on this shit all the time, so I'm just figuring it out as I go. But every single time I tried doing this stream, it would just crash and shit. So I did like a 3-second stream and it's like dead, or 3-minute stream and it's dead. So I would just do YouTube Live because I can just get to it and put it out there and not worry about downloading it and everything like that. And I was just like, I just get on with it. But I'm doing this one again. I want to start recording it so I can get it on my Rumble. I like Rumble. I want to promote Rumble. I want Rumble to get big as hell. I would like Rumble to get better than YouTube. Sorry, YouTube, you guys censor people too much, and I get it. Well, you're pissed at me on that one morning. I get that, but still, it's bullshit. Free speech, bitches. This isn't Europe. This is the United States of America. You're a fucking American country. And if my thing says it's not for children, then it's not for fucking children, and I should be able to say whatever the fuck I want. Let the chips fall where they may. There was a bunch of little girls. Oh, goodness. So anyways, a lot's been going on since then. The Trump dance has become an iconic thing. Everybody does the Trump. John Jones did the Trump dance, 309. Gave Trump his belt and everything like that, and like all the football players are doing it, and there's like a TikTok trend of all these everybody doing fucking the Trump dance. So we are winning the culture war. Like I said, it was like who was the guy? It was the guy from a fucking punk band. God, the name's gonna escape me now. It's like Johnny Rotten or something like that. I think it was him, but he was like, dude, Republicans and conservatism is now the new counterculture. That's punk. And I think just conservatism in general, because I'm not a Republican, I'm an independent, and there's a lot of bad Republicans there, so I won't say Republicanism. There's people think they're right when they think Republican, but I'm like, no, it's conservatism. It just happens that the Republicans have embraced conservatism, or at least went back to it, because they were really bad people back in the day. But anyways, Trump's won. The YMCA towel dance, Trump dance is now a big thing. That's great. Let's see what else happened. Oh yeah, he's all his cabinet picks. Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you, talk about tonight is the cabinet picks. I love them. They went after Matt Gaetz. They like some FBI, it wasn't an FBI, but he was a federal agent, tried to extort his dad for, a lot of money. I don't know how much. I'd have to look more into it. I'm not going to. But I know he tried to extort his parents, and they tried to put a frame job on him saying he like slept with a bunch of these underage girls and he was running a prostitution ring. I mean, it was really outlandish. And the guy's in prison right now for that. But and you didn't hear nothing more about that once Matt Gaetz' name was cleared. But then as soon as Trump picked him for attorney general, oh shit. Well, hold on. The House has still got an ethics panel on him, and we have to committee, and we got to go through all that shit. And it's like no, 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 no. And so Matt Gaetz just fucking said, "Fuck you guys," and resigned from Congress, which he should have done. I'm glad he did, because now Trump's going to get him in, and he's going to be the attorney general, and shit's going to get really fucking, really nasty now. And a lot of people are like, no, the weaponization of government. They already weaponized it, but they broke the law. You can't just weaponize it and not break the law. You upset tradition, and so now you've made a new tradition. You broke numerous laws. You went about the playbook all wrong and said we can do it because we're in power, and so we can do everything within the playbook because you violated the rules. You broke the law. And so shit's going to go very downhill for you guys, and it's going to be great. I can't wait to watch it. Yeah, you guys should flee the country. You guys should probably talk to England or Australia or Canada. No, don't go to Canada. Go to somewhere where we'd have to like pay a lot of money to extract you, because I think there's a lot of fucking people that if you were like holed up in Canada and like, oh, America can't extradite us, there'd be a lot of civilians that would just go across the border and grab your nappy ass and drag you back. So Canada or Mexico probably wouldn't be a good idea, especially Mexico within the next year or so, because the cartels are going to probably be considered domestic terrorists and or terrorists. A terrorist organization, and they're going to be green lit. And when they get green lit, they get lit up. Well, these cartels, they think they're the shit. That's because our own government wouldn't let our own special forces fucking handle our border. We've been managing borders across in other countries. And yeah, you got a few mercs there, and you guys dealt with that shit like that. But no. When we go after the cartels, yeah, there'll be a power vacuum, but I don't know who'd want to take it up, because Trump might have a contingency plan after he wipes your ass off the face of the fucking world. Because one, it'll give the power back to the Mexican people, and it'll also give power back to the Mexican government. They will no longer be under the thumb of the cartels. The cartels will be so fucking scared to even fucking like go, oh yeah, I'm a Silanola, and he's fucking dead. The Mexican government will kill him. The Mexican civilians will kill him. Because like, we don't want you here, asshole. You see what Trump already did to this fucking place? All because you fucked around with the border, you helped steal the elections, you fucking put in a bunch of fucking, smuggled a bunch of people and drugs in here, and so you chose to fuck around. You made billions of dollars, okay? Okay, I hope you find out real soon. Because that's the one thing that needs to happen is justice. Justice for a lot of people. For a lot of Americans. And I get it. A lot of people in the Middle East go, what did America do to me? Like, fuck you. You're lucky we didn't fucking just take you over as a territory. We should have. If we go to war and fucking go into another country and fucking topple a government, we should be in charge of it now. Why did we do it in the first place? Oh, weapons of mass destruction. Oh, because of so-and-so. Fuck that, dude. No, don't waste lives. Don't waste lives. If we fucking have to go into a fucking another country again, we're taking it over. Warning, Mexico and Canada, we will take your shit over. And Canada probably wouldn't have a fucking problem with it. And once we're done with Mexico, they wouldn't have a problem with it either. Trust me. God. I mean, literally, fuck him. Anyways, the Trump's cabinet picks, greatest disruptors. He's putting in all-time assholes that were treated similarly, not as bad as, but similarly to Trump. Similarly to Alex Jones. Alex Jones is another one that they're going to be looking into because they tried to sell his place to the Onion through a secret bid, got their hands stuck in the cookie jar. And even this one guy is like, I think he was one of Obama. I'm going to play him a little bit later, but he's talking about the Gaetz appointment. But he was talking about how, if they did this to Alex Jones, it doesn't matter if he's Alex Jones or not, if you hate him or not, or if he's the most hated man in the world. In America, it's equal protection under the law. And it's funny because the people that are going after Alex Jones are frothing at the mouth trying to do all this illegal shit because he's Alex Jones. And they don't get it. No, equal protection under the law. And so now the law is going to be thrown at you. But anyway, so we should totally get started with, we're going to talk about the Matt Gaetz appointment. I made a little list here. Matt Gaetz and the implementing agenda. So let's start it with some music. Some killer music. Here we go. That's right. So today on Bannon's War Room, he had Darren Beattie, the owner of Revolver.news. He's like a fucking strategist for the Trump administration back in 2016, from what I gather. But Bannon had him on the War Room to talk about the confirmations of the justices, or not just the justices, no, Supreme Court, but the confirmation of the Attorney General and possibly these other picks that Trump has that they don't want to even see close to power. Why? Because these guys actually know how to wield power, and in a very bad way, but legally, because you guys did that to them in a very bad way, and then it got illegal. So our first scene of the day comes from Revolver.news. So go to Revolver.news. They're the best out there. Drudge used to be the best. And then all of a sudden, Matt Drudge went like fucking crazy. I don't fucking know. I guess he got Trump derangement syndrome, or he sold it. But anyways, Matt Drudge has become pussy in my book. I mean, yeah, maybe he'll warn against a few things. Maybe he'll get something right in the right way or what have you. But other than that, fuck you, Matt Drudge. You thought you used to be on our side, and I'm an independent. I thought you were on the side of freedom and everything like that, but nope, you decide to suckle at the Democratic teat or at Bill Clinton's dick like fucking Monica Lewinsky. Remember? You exposed that, and now you're sucking the okay. You're suckling the teat at the Grand Democratic Party. I had to catch myself there. Last time I got in trouble for being a little bit too descriptive, and I can't do that. Fuck you, Matt Drudge. Okay, well, you know what? If this gets taken off YouTube, it'll be on Rumble. Because it wasn't even that bad. All right, so anyways, so here's Steve Bannon, Bannon's War Room, his podcast, and he's talking to Darren Beattie about AG Matt Gaetz, and it is instrumental to implementing the MAGA agenda, as in, yeah, this is the guy for the job. And so let's hear him out. Can I? Nope. What? There you go. What?
Why is Matt Gaetz the key to Pixelotch? Of all these other great choices, why is he central, and why is it an imperative that we show strength by not having a recess appointment on him, but we actually get him passed by the United States Senate, sir?
Well, I think a number of things. First of all, he has a demonstrated and unwavering loyalty not only to Trump, but to the MAGA agenda that was just approved by an historic majority by the electorate. This is the mandate. This is part of the mandate. So I think that loyalty is critical. And like I alluded to earlier, we've seen in previous instances how a weak and disloyal AG can severely cripple the presidency. Weak AGs have traditionally been the Achilles heel of the presidency as far as Trump. And so I think this is why part of the reason why Trump is, quote, all in on the Gates confirmation, because he understands how central it is, how indispensable it is to have someone who is loyal not only to him, but to the agenda that the American people resoundingly approved, how critical that is to getting the job done more generally. Because if you're
Over here so
bogged
people
down
can
in
see
all
it.
of this nonsense like he was in the first term, that not only affects what's going on in the DOJ, that affects the bandwidth that you have to implement the agenda across the institutions of government. So that's why it's really
Everything.
critical. And also about
The-
Gates is, yes, he's a firebrand, yes, he's a disruptor, but he's also an exceptionally acute lawyer. He understands how to do things. This isn't just someone who's going to go in and break things willy-nilly. There's a surgical aspect to his intelligence. He knows what to do. He knows how to deal with the media, but he also knows how to deal with the bureaucracy. He knows how to navigate it. And I think that's also what's going to make him tremendously effective. In our piece at Revolver News, we had just a couple of creative things that if you have someone who's open to creative thinking can absolutely do. In the first term, there was a religious liberty task force in the DOJ. There can be a First Amendment task force now. It's kind of a nerve center to deal with all of the censorship and First Amendment issues. And even if it comes out, as it has a bit in the Twitter files, that there have been people violating the law in terms of the First Amendment, you can go after them. Here's one of my favorite ideas: False Claims Act. It's a very little known act that dates back to the Civil War, but effectively what it says is it gives any potential whistleblower standing to expose fraud against the government. Now, this is traditionally used for healthcare, in the healthcare arena, in tax arena, but there's no reason this can't be
yeah.
expanded, for instance, to say if universities say they're not doing affirmative action and they actually
Yeah.
are, people can expose this and get a bounty.
Ooh, that'd be a good idea. False Claims Act. I'm gonna have to look more into that. Dude, Darren Beatty's the man. He's really good. Very big on his research, and his webpage, revolver.news, is great. It not only has clips, it has articles. For some reason, it loads a little funny on this computer, but not on not my other computer at work. So I can it goes right to all the clips and stuff. But if you go to the page, there's a lot of headlines and stuff like that, and just click on them. Something interests you, just click on it. It'll either redirect you to another news site or it'll direct you to another Revolver page where it'll be either his own breakdown or another writer like Julie Kelly. He has her. That's Julie Kelly right there. He has her on a lot. She's big time up. She was big time last 3 years up the government's ass over the J6 defendants, and of course what the administration, the lawfare that they were doing against Trump, because it blew everybody away. She was one of those people that just can research it. Do you want to get down? You want to get down? You gotta say hi to everybody. Yeah. Hi. Hi, everybody. All right. I know. You know. Yeah. Mao. Okay. Go on, asshole. All right. So, his whole page is great. Revolver.news. If you ever get a chance, check it out. So this is Jeff Clark. Now, from what I gather, he was one of Trump's attorneys, and they went after him as well. I don't know if he's the guy that said he was going to put Trump was going to throw Letitia James's fat ass in jail. I don't know if that was him. I don't think it was. But he was one of the lawyers that gave Trump the recommendation to, I think, put another slate of directors. Alex Jones was talking about him, but when the whole Georgia Fannie Willis case, Trump is able to actually, if there's fraud or what have you, and they want an investigation, they can legally slate another set of electorals and alternate electors to go to the Electoral College for the vote and shit. And that is legal. Kennedy did that to Richard Nixon, I guess. And as a matter of fact, was applauded by the judge for doing so. It showed a great constitutional knowledge or what have you. And I think he won, as a matter of fact, because Nixon didn't become president until a lot later. But So this guy recommended the same thing. Trump, well, Fannie Willis and all those people in Georgia, and when they did the lawfare against Trump, they not only went after Trump, they went after his lawyers. They tried to they disbarred Rudy Giuliani. The Bar Association needs to fucking fuck off. By the way, British Accredited Regency, BAR, fuck their association. Why do you got to pass the bar to argue law in the United States? Why should you pass the bar? It's their fucking rules. I mean, we're Americans. They're British. Fuck, they're British. Fuck you, Britain. Surrender your fucking monarchy. Surrender them to the United States people so we can execute them and we will free you and you'll become the 51st state. Well, maybe 53. It depends if we take Canada or Mexico first. But 53 at least. And you'll no longer have those castles. Well, you can have the castles. That's great history. We don't want to ruin your history or anything like that. But we should kill your monarch. Those bastards are evil. I'm not saying I'm not saying people should go out there and do that. And just once Trump gets in office, then maybe, you gotta, and we make the demand. If we make the demand, then yeah, you should go ahead, consider surrendering them. So you can, but Trump Trump likes the royals. I don't know why. Lucky I wasn't the president. That'd be my first thing is like, okay, I'm president. Border secured. Nope. Well, secure it. Oh, grab the militia. Have the militia come down and just give them orders, shoot to kill. They'll be totally exonerated by me. But, sir, no, fuck you. Anyways, so this is a... I know, I went too far. I gotta back up here. So this is Jeff Clark on investigating the corrupt DOJ. You can't not push back on a schoolyard bully because, like I said, this guy was just like Matt Gaetz, targeted, fucked with, and he was a good attorney. And there's nothing wrong with being an attorney and advising your client the proper way to maneuver the legal system. But they went after him for doing that. And it's like, because you were in power. Well, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Okay. Guess who's in power now? Now you see where I'm talking about the legal things. You guys didn't have the right to do this to Alex Jones or do it to fucking Trump because they're Alex Jones or because they're Trump and Trump is the new Hitler or what have you. That's no right. I'm sorry for the reality check. The little, hey, it's time to grow up a little bit. Sticks and stones. We've kind of went, but you guys fucking broke down over him winning over Hillary, the most evil woman in the world. And then when you cheated your asses off to get Biden in, then you go, yeah, let's go after his lawyers. Let's make sure he can never come to politics again. Shut Alex Jones down. Make sure he can never have a voice in the world again. Who the fuck do you people think you really are? And this is the reason why we want Attorney General Matt Gaetz in there, and this is why you all should go to jail for a very, very, very long time. Your last name should be shunned from the public. Somebody's like, remember Jack Smith? Or some guy's like, I just named my kid Jack. And like, dude, your last name's Smith. You can't name him Jack Smith. That's the equivalent of naming somebody Adolf Hitler. Let's do it to them. Yeah, you guys cry all you want, you fucking Democrats. I'm an independent. I don't care. Even you Republican rhinos, cry all you want. Trump's in there, and these are his picks. He deserves it, and you all deserve to fucking go to hell. So anyways, here's Jeff Clark on investigating the corrupt DOJ. You can't not push back on a schoolyard bully. Take it away, Jeff. I'm buffering. What the hell's going on here? Well, that's not good. Wow. The first time I've ever done this here. Well, guess what? We won't play that one then. Fuck you. We'll go to the next one. Hilarious meltdown. The DOJ continues to melt down after the election results. So, let's hear it.
Look, Steve, I spent a total of 6.5+ years at the Justice Department in 2 different presidential administrations. I can tell you and the audience with great assurance that at no point did I ever break down weeping about any election results or even any case results. We're supposed to be adults at this point, right? I was about to say men. I recognize that maybe that's a little bit too male-centric, but still, look, I think these reports are amazing in that they show the nature of the people who've come in under the Democrat umbrella. And I don't have a lot of sympathy for them. I hear that they're making arguments of, we're going to have to be bedeviled by lawsuits and lawfare, et cetera. Well, welcome to the club. I've spent the last 4 years being bedeviled by those things just for doing my job at the Justice Department. And, if there is some turnabout on that from the new Congress and from any investigations that might take place, that's what they signed up for when they started weaponizing the Justice Department against their political opponents, Steve.
Yeah. Harry Reid, he was like the senator of Nevada, and he was like a majority leader at one time, I think. And he broke the filibuster rule on appointing judges and to push in like Obama's appointments. And everybody said, well, the Democrats were like all for it because Obama was a scumbag. And so like when you guys look at Trump for doing these, no. You guys broke the rules first. And once you set the precedent, that's when you realize that breaking these rules can come and bite you in the ass. And so Harry Reid did that. And then when Trump got in there and started appointing the judges and they got rid of the filibuster, they fucking flipped out over the whole thing. And everybody's like, we told Harry Reid not to do it. But now that you did it, here we are. Sorry, too bad. Well, when you do the lawfare and everything like that, it works the same way. But you guys went a step further. You guys did lawfare in an illegal way. You went after lawyers. You made up laws. With the Alex Jones case alone, you subverted the man's constitutional rights. He had every right to a trial by jury. But they used a loophole. They judge shopped. They found a judge. HBO approached her because they did an HBO special. I could be wrong. On this. But if you ask me, what it looks like is like HBO and the Democrat Party and the DOJ, people within the government, holdover appointees from the Obama administration, realized Alex Jones actually was able to sway a lot of voters to get Trump elected. And since nobody liked Hillary and everybody, they called, Alex Jones had a competition to call Bill Clinton a rapist. Because, if you believe all women, then it's true. And he paid $5,000 so you can get it on camera along with Infowars.com. So they went after Alex Jones hardcore and they found a judge. They had to have, because this judge has no idea about the Constitution. She says, okay, there's a discovery here. Show me all the documents that Infowars has that Alex Jones made money on the Sandy Hook victims. And Alex Jones says, we don't have that. Well, discovery, so give us all your documents. So he gives them all the documents. Well, don't you have a couple phones? Well, oh yeah, well, here you go. We have those too. Well, you might have some more documents. And Alex is like, what do you want? You want my bar tab receipts? This is all the scraps of paper this is all our documents during that time. We didn't make nothing off of Sandy Hook. And so the judge goes, well, you didn't provide the documents necessary. They didn't exist. You didn't provide this documents as necessary, so I'm finding you guilty, through this loophole. Now you no longer get your trial by jury on whether or not you're guilty. We're going to have a fucking fake mock trial on HBO on how much you owe. And they had the Sandy Hook parents all in there and all the blue, blue, blue. You know what? The Sandy Hook parents are fucking scum. They really are. They said Alex Jones stood on top of the graves of their children to make money. Alex Jones didn't make a dime off of the Sandy Hook people. Alex Jones never sent people to their house to piss on the graves or what have you. No. There's always crazy people out there. Something like that could have happened. But there's nothing Alex Jones ever said about that or doing that. And so they made those claims in court, and he couldn't protect himself. And the whole thing is a First Amendment right. Even if he did say these things, he has every right to. He's an American. He did not make money off of them. And he talked about them for like a half hour. And at the same time, I don't have to defend Alex Jones on anything other than the principle that he's an American. He has a First Amendment right. And he also has a right to trial by jury. And the Eighth Amendment to the Constitution is cruel and unusual punishment. And what happened to him was cruel and unusual. So you guys broke the law. You deserve to go down. And not only down, like in a little bit, like in a big way. Like a lot of you people need to be stripped of your wealth. You need to be put in jail for a very, very, very long time. And, well, I got a nice saying. I always say a fair trial and a proper hanging. Because a lot of you deserve to be put to death for what you did. Not to Alex Jones, but to Trump as well, and to this country. Because you stole an election. And during that time, you let all hell ring loose, and a lot of people died. A lot of American citizens died. My nephew died of fentanyl overdose. Doesn't matter if he was a good kid or not, he didn't deserve to die of fentanyl overdose. And that came over through the border that you wouldn't secure. No, there's a lot of consequences for your actions over the last 4 years. A lot of consequences. And literally with Anthony Fauci and all that kind of shit and the big pharma, we do need Nuremberg trials 2.0. And we need to get it through everybody's head like we did right after World War II. It does not matter if you were following orders. Orders don't mean shit when it comes to the law of the land. The law of the land is the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. I was just following orders. Okay. That's what the Nazis said. And we hung them. Fair trial. Proper hanging. All right. Jeff Clark. Here's a couple more. Explains the tie-breaking power of the president. He is a lawyer, by the way.
Let me start, if I could, Steve, by talking about English law. So the English king had two sets of powers. Eventually, the parliament made inroads against the first one especially. But the king could have the power to dissolve the parliament or to suspend it or what was called prorogue it. And the framers, in their wisdom, completely appropriate, since they wanted to have three standing branches of government that were co-equal, they denied to the president the analog of the power to dissolve Congress. It's a body that continues in existence from election to election. The president doesn't have the power to do that. But they decided that some form of the power to prorogue essentially would be conferred on the president. But they put another check and balance on it, Steve. They put on it the idea that the president can order the two houses of Congress into a recess if the two houses disagree with each other as to whether to go into that recess. And so if that disagreement between the houses exists, the president can send them into recess for as long as he sees fit. And there are arguments floating around from the Wall Street Journal, from Ed Whalen for the National Review, from Andy McCarthy.
Hang on a second. The Republic's been around. The Constitution is, 235 years old. We're coming up next April, folks, the 250th anniversary, so that's a quarter of a millennium,
right, of
the shot heard around the world, Lexington and Concord, next 19 April 2025. Has this ever been even talked? Has it ever been tried anywhere in any presidency? And has it even been discussed, what you're talking about? Well, this is where one house would say, I want to go in recess, the other house wouldn't, and the president can use that one house saying they want to go into recess. So this kind of is a reveal about why Mike Johnson, who's nothing to do with confirmations, said out of the blue, I support the recess nominations process so Johnson could put the House into recess, and Trump could use that House recess to force the Senate, if Mitch McConnell and John Thune didn't want to do it, to force the House into a recess and then put his nominees through?
Short answer is yes, and what the president's given in the Constitution is a tie-breaking power. If the two houses disagree with each other, the president can send them both into recess.
Where is that in the Constitution?
That is in the article about adjournments, and it goes to, normally, right, the houses decide for themselves when they're in session.
Well, the Senate has not been was never out of session the entire first Trump presidency.
Right.
Mitch McConnell did not trust. This was the only reason he did that was because he did not trust Trump to slide in a couple of nominations, correct?
They created this pro forma process where they basically gavel themselves in, and they were supposedly in session, but they really weren't in session. But the Supreme Court upheld that in this case called Noel Canning versus the NLRB. And so, now it's well established that the Senate can use these pro forma adjournments, and they're not, pro forma coming into session when they're actually not there doing business. The Obama administration tried to say that during those, sessions where they're really not available, they're actually in recess, and therefore President Obama had the recess appointment power. But the Supreme Court disagreed. They said that as we read the Constitution and its history, a recess of 3 days or less is clearly insufficient to trigger the recess appointment power. For recesses 10 days and longer, they said that is long enough. Then the power definitely exists in the president. And then they said that recesses essentially between the 3 days and the 10 days presumptively are not long enough in order for the president to use the power. So if the president wants to use the power and not have it be questioned, a recess has to last 10 days or longer.
And what and that could the House say I want a 10-day recess, and
so
the
House
and the president can force the Senate into a 10-day recess, and then he can put certain of his nominees through?
Yes.
Bam. There it is there. Recess appointments. Now, everybody serves at the pleasure of the president. So even his recess appointments are subject to being fired or replaced, what have you. But recess appointments can last up to 2 years. That's half the president's term. So for 2 years, he could have Kash Patel leading the FBI, dismantling it, turning it into... If you're an FBI agent and you're a good one, sorry, one bad apple spoils the bunch. My grandma always used to say. And since you got a lot of bad apples in there and you guys didn't police your own agency and the bad apples got to the top of the pile, the whole thing needs to be thrown out. I don't care if the FBI loses its job. I think all you guys do is go around and entrap American citizens. The FBI needs to go. Or reform it, what have you. But I think if you put Kash Patel in there, that would be great. That'd be awesome. He would tear you guys apart like you should be. After all the shit that you've done over the last 8 years, not only going after parents that go to school boards and go, hey, don't teach this pedophile shit to my fucking kids. You call them domestic terrorists. If you're in the FBI, if you came to my house, I would just laugh at you. You're a joke. Get the fuck off my property. What makes you think you have any authority? Oh, I got handcuffs and a gun. Okay, well, fuck you, then just go ahead and take me in. We'll handle this in court, but you have no fucking respect for me. And I'll call you little bitches as I see fit, because that's what you are. Fucking bitch investigators, FBI. Fucking bitch instigators. You're fucking Karens, the FBI. So the FBI should go. I hope Kash Patel gets in there. I hope not only Kash Patel gets in there, but fucking Matt Gaetz also gets in there and fucking looks at each and every one of you motherfuckers and sends some of you fuckers to prison. If not, a firing squad. Yeah. Everybody's like, oh, Trump said he's going to put Liz Cheney in front of a firing squad. No, he didn't. But you know what? I wouldn't have a problem with it. I wouldn't have a problem if he put a lot of you FBI motherfuckers in front of a firing squad for what you did to this country. because you make a lot of money. You make a lot more money than I do, and you shouldn't. You should make less money than I do. You should just love your job. Yeah. And this is, I think, this is the last one I wanted to do with this guy, and he's talking to some other guy. But they're talking about Kash Patel, and here we go.
We got to get this nomination. He should not be the deputy. He's got to run. The deputy runs the building, but Kash has got to be the front page. It's got to be the front porch of it. How important is Kash in doing that?
Well, I think Kash would be great, Steve, and so I'll hold back my congratulations until we see what the decision is. Sorry. Sorry.
But tell me about hold it. But for Kash, there's all this concern that they can't get confirmed. Talk about Trump's got two alternatives, and he said he just did the one in 1998 that he's going to use the Vacancies Act. But yours is actually more aggressive. What can President Trump do to get Gaetz confirmed and to get Patel confirmed if he needs it?
Well, before I unpack the recess appointments clause a little bit, Steve, let me say this. It's even better than that because you can combine the two tools. You could recess appoint somebody, and then that lasts basically for 2 years until the end of the next session of Congress, each session being a year.
2 years. And
then you can tack on another 210 days as acting after that under the Federal Vacancy Reform Act. So almost the tools are additive, like a kind of Kerpow synergy. So coming back to the recess appointments clause, the president has had this power since the founding of the Constitution. Hundreds and hundreds of recess appointments have been made in our history, including by modern presidents. And for some reason, surprise, surprise, the media and a lot of the never Trumper types want to pretend that this is not a power that the president has, or if he exercises it, the sky comes falling. None of that is true. And why is it that President Trump is looking at exercising that power now? It's because the confirmation process, especially as to Republicans, has gotten out of control. In my lifetime, I've seen Judge Bork, an honorable man, a Yale law professor, massive antitrust theorist, go down because of attacks. I've seen Clarence Thomas, them nearly take him out with their high-tech lynching, and I've seen them attempt to take out Brett Kavanaugh, which thankfully was stopped by Mike Davis and others working with Justice Kavanaugh. So in order to push back on that in the hurly-burly of the separation of powers, President Trump is talking about using this recess appointments clause power, and there are many of us who think that he should in order to set right the boundaries between the branches of the government.
Recess them all. Fuck
'em. Davis, you've done confirmations in some of the toughest at the Supreme Court. Is Clark right? Is that the confirmation process gotten so bad, particularly for Trump, that he has to look at these, quite frankly, I guess, powers, but it looks like extraordinary power, sir, including this one that Clark writes about, that he could essentially force Congress into recess and then do his recess appointments, sir?
Every option should be on the table. I was the chief counsel for nominations for the first year and a half or 18 months of Trump's administration, and Jeff Clark was one of the nominees who languished in the Senate along with many others for a senior Justice Department post. And it was because the Democrats used every obstruction tactic they could. They had the bogus Russian collusion hoax scaring the Republicans into thinking that Trump was appointing all these Russian assets into these key posts. And it's nonsense. And we should not play their games this time. I broke almost every piece of china in the Senate to make sure we confirmed President Trump's nominees, and we should not play games this time. We should move forward.
No games.
And if they don't want to, if the Senate doesn't want to move forward on Trump's qualified nominees, they have a constitutional duty in the Senate. I get that. They have to make sure that the people have good character and fitness and they're qualified, but they should also defer to the president on his cabinet picks and his other senior executive branch picks. And if they want to obstruct, just to obstruct, and Trump, you broke almost every piece of china in the Senate to make sure we confirmed President Trump's nominees, and we should not play games this time. We should move forward. And if they don't want to, if the Senate doesn't want to move forward on Trump's qualified nominees, they have a constitutional duty in the Senate. I get that. They have to make sure that the people have good character and fitness and their quality.
The people have good character, fitness, and quality. Admiral Rachel Levine is their example. Pete Buttigieg is their example. We had the worst shipping crisis in history, and he couldn't show up because him and his husband, yeah, they're gay, dude. They're both fags. Him and his husband bought a baby through surrogacy, and they wanted to take maternal leave. They actually had a picture of these two on a hospital bed. And it's like, why, dude, are you acting like one of you pooped that fucking kid out? And he wouldn't go to work. He wouldn't even, he fucked everything up. So, yeah, I get it. The Senate has, their constitutional duty to make sure everybody's qualified and of standing character and shit like that. Fuck you. As far as the Senate's confirmed, fuck you. Recess appointments all the way. Because the people you put in the Biden administration under your little DEI programs are horrifyingly fucking unqualified. You got a Supreme Court justice that couldn't even define a woman in a Senate hearing, either because she's stupid or she's scared or both. So yeah, recess appointments. I'm just going to finish this up. Sorry, I'm going to bitch a little bit if I want.
Qualified, but they should also defer to the president on his cabinet picks and his other senior executive branch picks. And if they want to obstruct, just to obstruct, then Trump needs to use the appointments, the Vacancy Act and the recess appointments to get his people picked. I would say this about Kash Patel. He is very qualified for this job as the FBI, and he should get confirmed. And he should get confirmed very quickly because he is very good at this job. I know that Grassley's office, his chief counsel for oversight and investigations, thinks very highly of Kash Patel and worked very closely with Kash Patel on Crossfire Hurricane and other critical oversight. It knows Kash Patel is a very serious lawyer, a very serious national security official, a very serious reformer. Kash Patel is perfect to go reform the FBI, and I think he's going to have pretty strong support on the Senate Judiciary Committee with Chairman Chuck Grassley's office, and that's going to lead to his confirmation.
Yeah. And the last one for the night on this one little subject, and then I got two more I want to go through. This is just, like I said, this is all just out of the Revolver.news webpage. It's great. Clips all over. Nothing but patriots, nothing but people that are pro-American, and a lot of them are pro-Republican, so I can't really go there. But not like fucking, they don't get all fucking, I don't know what happened to Drudge, dude. Matt Drudge, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself, dude. I don't know what the fuck happened to you, bro. You're you've made douchebag level. And I'm glad that the vacuum was filled by Darren Beattie and Revolver News. Because Revolver News is cutting, it's edge breaking. You want to know what one side has to say and the other side has to say? Well, watch his articles. Look at his articles. Get the different opinion from what you get from MSNBC and Joy Reid and all those fuckheads at The View and all that kind of shit. And Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, I don't remember fucking. I don't remember crying when Trump lost. I don't remember, I wasn't in the whole podcasting thing, but I was like, oh my God, Trump. When Trump lost, I was like, holy fuck. We were playing Red Dead that night, and some fucking Canadian guy's fucking talking shit. And he's like, yeah, fucking good luck on your civil war now that Trump lost, you fucking pussy. And I'm like, dude, we lived through 8 years of Obama. We can go through another 4 to 8 years of Biden. It'll be bad, but, we don't fucking do that shit, We're not fucking into revolution. We're into conservation of what we have. And here we are 4 years later. I wish I could fucking find that motherfucker again on fucking Red Dead. Come to Red Dead, motherfucker. Dude, I ran. They had like this it was back in the days, the early days of Red Dead. They had like this whole posse crew called the Reapers, or the Grims. And my buddy Wizard was a part of the Grims. And like I got off after all that fucking shit. And dude, they started fucking. I was starting to get massacred by these fucking people. So like I went to another lobby and I run into my buddy Wizard and he was rolling with his fucking his crew, and it's like fucking 10 fucking people that are all part of the Grim Reaper fucking crew. And then since I was I had been in an ordeal with that guy, I joined their crew. We all just jumped there and we fucked these people up for like 30 minutes. They were like calling in SOSs on and I was like on the chat that they're calling SOS, and I was like, I'll be right there in a minute. And we were just fucking them up the whole night. It was fucking great. And anyways, 4 years later, Trump's back in office. We didn't go through a civil war, dumbass. Fucking Canadians can be stupid sometimes. Anyways, here we are. Last one. President Trump tells Senate Majority Leader Thune that if Matt Gaetz is not confirmed as Attorney General, he will use the Federal Vacancies Reform Act to appoint him. Let's hear it.
Has told Senate Majority Leader Thune that if Matt Gaetz is not confirmed by the Senate, he will appoint him using the Federal Vacancies Reform Act of 1998. Now, you just wrote a piece on what the power of the executive branch on these recess appointments. Jeff Clark, Mike, if you and Darren could hang on for a second. Is that along the lines of where President Trump just tweeted this out, or is this something different?
That's different from the recess appointment clause. So President Trump has both tools in his quiver, Steve. He has the recess appointment power, which is a constitutional power, and then he has the Congress given him power under the Federal Vacancies Reform Act, or what we call the FVRA, that allows putting in officials temporarily. So both things exist, and I'd actually written some internal papers and done a lot of research about the FVRA as well, so I know how that works. And the last thing I would say is that Darren Beatty, you got on talking about the False Claims Act. That was the act that the Civil Division administered, which I had charge of during the Trump administration at the end. And also, the Civil Division has charge of defending FVRA challenges, and we faced a lot of them against Chad Wolf, especially at the Department of Homeland Security. So this is a key tool that President Trump also has to fill out his cabinet and sub-cabinet.
Does your paper, and we'll get it, does your paper and analysis say that basically President Trump can force the hands of both houses of Congress to basically put him into recess, and then he does his recess appointments? I just want to make sure that Rachel, that Nicole Wallace's head blows up appropriately today,
so I know that I got
for her
this
show.
right.
Are you saying that President Trump can actually force the houses into recess and do his appointments then?
So, Steve, under the Constitution, if the two houses disagree about whether to adjourn or stay in session, then the president has the power to send them into recess, both houses, for as long as he sees fit. So it's a very important power. It hasn't been wielded in the past before, but the framers were keen on giving that power to the president. It's an analog of a power that existed at English law.
Well, fuck English law. This is American constitutional law, and I think that guy did a great job. So we can go ahead and turn that down right now. Get rid of it. And so our next one, oh, goodness me, pardon me, is Kash Patel and, no, it's Tucker Carlson. I forget who he was talking to, but the thing is, can Elon and Can Elon and Vivek really fix America with the Doge, the DOGE, or the Department of Government Efficiency? And so let's see what he has to say. Let me bring him in here real quick. There he is. And let's see here. Here we go. Let me go here. Tucker.
What exactly are Elon and Vivek going to do you think, with this Doge enterprise?
Well, I think they're bringing an exhilarating rush to the system of creativity, outside-the-box thinking, comfortability with risk and leverage. And
boy, they are comfortable. Both those guys are comfortable with risk.
It's amazing. And the reason I love it is, in some respects, this does feel like an intractable problem that we're up against.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I don't think it is, but I think it feels that way. And we're bringing people that are trying to get to Mars. So I'm pretty sure they can handle the ability for us to balance our books and run a government that's much more efficient. So I think that the things that I've heard them say are things like really going after, or from a deregulatory perspective, all of the recent court cases that have said and chopped at the feet of this administrative state. You don't have the ability to just come up with new major questions, rank and file agency. You've got to have actual specific language from Congress. You don't have the ability to get the deference for every position that you've taken just because you're a federal agency. These have been big axe cuts at the administrative branches. And so I think what they want to do is to use those as the basis for a massive deregulatory agenda and game on. I also think they want to look for as much that you can do to start cutting costs without Congress or with Congress, but to be really aggressive in some of the areas that I've mentioned. Impoundment would be, a huge part of that, the ability to just not spend the money. And then, of course, being as radical or aggressive as you can in eliminating and reducing employees.
So make sure you get the timing
full-time
right.
employees, individuals, and going after contracts that make sense. So I think that that's where they're headed, and I think it'll be an enormous boon to the country.
Can you do it so neither one of them is going to become a federal employee himself? That's my understanding, correct?
That's my understanding as well.
I mean, they're not. I'll just say that. So how do you do that from outside?
Well, I think that they will be working with the agencies that do this. I think they'll be working with OMB, whoever's in that role. They'll be working with Treasury, who's ever in that role, and they will be rallying the theory of the case. I mean, I think ultimately that's what's most needed, Tucker, is a specific theory of the case about what can be done.
That's right.
And then you give it to the people, and hopefully that's been a two-way conversation, but you give it to the people that are on the president's executive team and his administration, and they run with it. And then you've got Doge out there providing a political support for what must be done.
Do you remember when Democrats used to refer to abortion as something that should be safe, legal, and rare? Well,
No, we don't need to do Tucker's. We don't need to do Tucker's thing. But that's how he gets into, that's what the DOGE is going to do. It's going to literally, it's literally going to fix everything. Well, not fix it. They got 4 years, and there's hundreds of agencies. I mean, we're going to go up to our 250th year. And Elon Musk is there's over 500 agencies. So that's for every, year. Oh, pardon me. There's been 2 agencies formed. So it's time to start cutting big time. Oh, goodness. Sorry, it's the beer talking. It's saying it's time to go to bed. And I know. But I got another little clip I want to go through because we got to talk about Alex Jones and the sale to the Onion and all the bullshit that's been going on there. Well, guess what? Onion didn't get sold to them. Apparently, once again, they tried to shut the man down illegally without a court order. The judge couldn't even sign off on it. And now all those people are going to be investigated. And then, like we were talking earlier about Matt Gaetz. Well, now Matt Gaetz, time to investigate, bro. I even sent him an X, I sent him a message on X. I'm like, dude, so not only could you got to go after, the lawyers and the Justice Department officials that did this, but you got to look at the judges too. If the judges are colluding with these people, I mean, they call it judge shopping or what have you. If that sounds like it just should be illegal. If judges are colluding with the Department of Justice and all that kind of shit, and they're doing lawfare on whether or not it's Alex Jones, me, you, Matt Gaetz, or even Donald Trump, the former president of the United States, then that needs to be literally gone through. I mean, what the hell can we do? Got to do it, So anyways, last one, InfoWars with Alex Jones, and he's going to talk to Roger Stone about this whole thing. It's the major update on the fraudulent attempt to steal InfoWars and sell it to the Onion. And at the same time, they were going after his name. They were going after @RealAlex, all his social media accounts. And that's when they fucked up, because when they went after, like, we want his X account and everything like that. Well, Alex Jones doesn't really own that. Elon Musk owns that, because @RealAlex Jones is probably paid. You know, if you get so many views, so many, if you're an influencer on that stream, regardless, you have to pay that man money, especially if you're going to advertise on those streams, with that person. And so Elon Musk actually owns @RealAlex Jones. And Elon Musk vowed that any type of censorship or anything like that would go on through the X account, he would send his lawyers in and defend them. It happened with Gina Carano when she was fired by Disney for over a text she put with all these Nazis, all these Germans saluting Adolf Hitler, except for this one guy that's not. She sent that, and she put it in context of, this is how you guys are to the Democrats and the Biden administration and your woke ideology, and here's me. And so they fucking flipped out, and Disney fired her, even though the one guy, Pasquale or whatever, the guy that played the Mandalorian, he made a similar post, and the job wasn't affected, not at all, because Orange Man bad and all that kind of shit. And so Elon Musk actually sent his lawyers in, and he paid for the whole thing, and I think she won against Disney. It's either that or it's still ongoing, and it's allowed to proceed. I think she won, though. Yeah, I think she won. I'd have to look at it again. But now, since all these crooked lawyers and Justice Departments and everybody for the Sandy Hook people went after Alex, and then they said, we want his social media accounts, all of them. And then Elon Musk is like, hold on, well, I own @RealAlex Jones. And he sent his lawyers into it on Alex's side. And these guys, and along with Matt Gaetz getting in, couldn't be more beautiful. Shit's going to get real. I guess InfoWars is going to have another auction that the judge is going to approve. I don't think he should. I think everything's on appeal. Then he shouldn't lose his network, but oh well. Let's just anyways, let's just see what he has to say with Roger Stone. Here we are. So
the Onion and the National Everytown Brady Center group that I've explained was behind the lawsuits the whole time, raising money off my name, saying that I was harassing him and doing stuff I never did, having judges find me guilty in rigged courts, then having a rigged auction, the judge killing the auction, the media trying to cover it up. Now it's all over the news confirmed, as I told you. And now we have the counter lawsuits filed, which I have not even announced or talked about yet in any detail. Red-handed. They thought if they attached to the bid after they admitted they rigged it, that they chose to give it to them instead of the highest bidder, that would somehow make it legal. And so in this document, overhead shot please, that I posted on X, it's also on Infowars.com, this is just the lawsuits and injunctions from the highest bidder that I've been working with for years. This is just that. It has all the exhibits in it where they put in the bid that they controlled the bid and decided to not give it to the highest bidder and did not even use real money as their bid. Yes, you heard me. It's like they were trying to, like if you were getting your law degree and they said, write a fictitious theoretical case of bid rigging and make it as absurdist and over the top as you could. That's what my lawyers, and one of them is one of the top guys, he's been practicing almost 50 years, said to me, he said, I've never seen anything like it. He goes, it is absurdist. And then they kept it secret till after. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. For people that don't know, they literally memorialized after the fact that it wasn't an auction, it was a secret sale, but they literally said, but it's Alex Jones, so it's okay. They didn't pledge real money. They weren't even supposed to have an auction. The judge didn't even know they'd had an auction. I mean, it's again, if you were trying to create something to be guilty, this is it. Does that make sense, Roger?
Yeah, Alex, what it is, it's bid rigging is what it is. That's exactly what they've been caught doing. So there was never any honest above board auction in which legitimate bids were weighed or analyzed. And based on the rules that we read, first you had to pre-qualify by demonstrating that you really had the cash to make the transaction if your bid was accepted. As I told you, I put in sweat equity. I have no money, but I do have knowledge and I have friends. And we put together, I think, a very solid bid with good people who understand InfoWars and how it works and understand how the platform could go forward and continue to be the tip of the spear. Then we hear that the people from the Onion come along, they make a bid, but their bid is based on some vague promise of future cash that we may get from Alex Jones when we extract every penny out of him. So they didn't put up an all cash bid, but they seem to have some inside deal with the bankruptcy trustee. So yeah, I said publicly, this stinks. This needs a thorough investigation. Sounds to me, Alex, like you have an honest judge who's not going to let this pass because there are rules, there are laws. I don't know Elon Musk, but I'm certain when I saw that he had filed the notice of appearance, I don't know how he could not object to their efforts to take away your presence on X, what used to be called Twitter. The real Alex Jones, that's you, but they want to take that away from you. They don't want to even let you use your own name. You can't be Alex Jones anymore, or you can't have the Alex Jones show anymore. This has never happened in the history of the United States. This has never happened in the history of any bankruptcy in the history of our country. So this is very clear. You were targeted. It's not even about money. They don't want your money. Not really. They just want to shut you up. They just want to close InfoWars down. What they don't understand is if they are successful in taking InfoWars away from you, they are just going to make you stronger. You're just going to be heard and seen and listened to on another powerful platform.
Which is the Alex Jones Network and more. But what I'm telling you, Roger, is it's not just my lawyers. I've talked to other top lawyers that have read the documents. We have them all. This is cut and dry fraud, not just the bid rigging. I mean, this is a big, these people went crazy. We'll be right back. All right, Roger Stone is our guest here, and we're looking at the overall panic of the Democratic Party and their component deep state globalist operatives in other countries. And a window into this insane world is the last federal trustee in the InfoWars bankruptcy, not because of lack of funds, but because they're taking it over and trying to shut it down. They don't want money, they've said. Tried to close the doors on May 31st with no court order. The judge fired him 2 weeks later at an emergency hearing. Then the judge said in the future there can be an auction, which I'd agreed to, but it's got to be open and transparent. They tried to not make it transparent, so we called for hearings. The judge said a month ago, you can't have the sale until we've had these hearings. The judge said that again Thursday in a hearing. They went ahead with this quote auction, changed the rules 2 days before. So it's not a public auction now, it's sealed bids, and we'll decide who wins, including people with less money. Okay. And then we said, you can't do that. He said, no, I have the authority to do it. We said, the judge's order doesn't say that. So they went ahead with it, gave it to people, it's the big national gun control groups, who it is. It's that's who runs the whole thing. They admitted this Friday on Good Morning America. Everytown, it's the Brady Center group now, what it turned into. It's the Democratic Party, is Soros on record. And the Onion is just the front group. They're not even hiding that now because they were crowing and celebrating. And they're on TV. You don't get any severance. We're going to give your employees 1 bottle of Brain Force. They said that as a joke. And they didn't own it. And then Thursday they come in and the U.S. trustee from the Justice Department just orders the power to the studios cut off. That's why I left. I wasn't going to leave. They just cut the power and called the internet service providers and cut InfoWars off and cut everything else off. So I went over to Alex Jones Network, got that fired up with only a few hiccups, went well, great job, crew. And then they had the emergency hearing that Thursday, and the judge said, I didn't authorize this. Everybody should be deeply troubled by this. We're going to have a hearing. And then we got the documents finally of what they'd done in the auction. That's in a lawsuit filed by the folks I was working with that were going to buy it, who did have real cash and did have the biggest bid, the only real bid, and there it is. And the exhibits are all there. It's on Infowars.com. How they did not disclose that it wasn't real money people were bidding against. They had a secret lever in the agreement where if people did ever bid more, they would just keep pledging more of the $1.5 billion, which is on appeal, which you can't borrow money against, which wasn't allowed in the sale. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. And now, Roger, what are they going to do when all the corporate media, except Bloomberg, ran the headlines that they had it and it was theirs, and then the day after, when they announced they won at 8 a.m., the U.S. trustees here cutting off the studio power. And then they go in the court that afternoon and say, we can't have his crew back in the building because the judge is like, well, it's still his company. Well, we can't have him in the company. They'll steal the equipment, our equipment, and as if we didn't already have another studio set up. And I mean, it's just, they literally hijacked the building without a court order illegally. So this is insane, Roger. Where do you see this going?
Well, first of all, Alex, let me say I'm delighted to hear that we have a giant radio audience. If you're carrying the Alex Jones show, then you should go to the Red Apple Audio Network, which syndicates my great show at 77 WABC in New York. Because if your audience loves Alex Jones, well, they're going to love Roger Stone. Sorry, but I had to get that plug in. Everything I know about radio, Alex, I learned from you. So this is an outrage, but I think justice is going to be done here. One or two things needs to happen. They need to have a new legitimate auction for these assets that is carefully monitored to demonstrate that it is honest and it's above board, or they have to take and throw out their bid and take our bid, because I believe we're the only other viable bidder. There are only two possibilities here. It has to be one or the other. But Alex, in all honesty, if you had not been able to get on the air and tell people what was going on, nobody would have known what was happening here. This is not about money, ironically, even though they've tried to destroy both of us financially. In your case, and to a lesser degree in my case, they just want to silence you because of your commitment to the truth. That's what this is really about. I've talked to bankruptcy lawyers in preparing our bid. They have never seen anything like this. These are people who've been in the business 20, 30, 40 years. They've never, ever seen anything like this. So you're being singled out. Why is the Justice Department even involved in your bankruptcy? Why are the intelligence agencies involved in a simple bankruptcy proceeding? None of this makes any sense.
Well, it shows how they use any lever they've got to pull this stuff. I mean, that's what's going on, Roger. They'll use any mechanism. Here's Jeffrey Clark, former Deputy Attorney General under Trump. He nailed it. This was on Thursday when all this was coming out. The only part he got wrong was that it was you guys' potential bid that got ignored. But the rest of it is dead on. Here's the clip. It's short.
I did actually, as one of my closing acts at the end of the Trump administration, argue a case about the U.S. bankruptcy trustees, who are the same folks here who are bedeviling Alex Jones and went in and shut him down. And look, as you were describing, they have, in connection with the private trustees that are set up and that they supervise, fiduciary duties to make sure that they get a maximum return for the creditors, right? And so if what Alex Jones describes is correct, Steve, that there were other bidders, maybe led by Roger Stone, and he's a hero for putting them together to try to rescue InfoWars. And if they had the highest bid and that was ignored, that's a serious legal issue that will need to be examined. I was looking at who the current director is of the U.S. trustee program. It's a woman named Tara Twomey. And you better believe that when the Trump administration starts, that she's going to get investigated, that how this bankruptcy of Alex Jones was investigated investigated. How it was dealt with is going to be investigated. This is something that, hopefully the judge will shut this down and say, look, I got to review this. Like, don't do anything precipitous. But if he doesn't, because, he's been working on these proceedings for a long time, and judges eventually get to the point where they want to get things off their docket. What the trustees seem to be doing here, to me, and these are people who are part of the Justice Department, right? I don't think that's well known, that the U.S. bankruptcy trustee program is part of the Justice Department. The Justice Department's span is truly enormous. That needs to be investigated, and I think that we can probably count on Matt Gaetz as Attorney General to do that kind of deep investigation, Steve. And so they're trying to clearly rush this out and shut Alex Jones down as a kind of demonstration of they're still in charge for the next 67 days or so. And, they could live to regret that. And so I think people should be looking over their shoulder and thinking about whether they really want to be doing this to shut down an important media operation.
Roger, I want to be 1,000,000,000% ultra clear here. I was ready, if they outbid us, to, have the left take it over. But I challenged in court them saying that they would own my name and that they would be able to use it against me. Then when they claimed they bought it, they came out and they said, we're going to confuse people. They were all over national TV, and we're going to say we're him and do UFOs and Bigfoot and chupacabras, and it's going to be so much fun, and we're going to do all of this. Well, that's unlawful, and you can't do that. Chris Murray, the U.S. trustee, said, well, Alex Jones doesn't have a 13th Amendment, so we can sell his likeness. I mean, it's just a wild-eyed, megalomaniac power grab like everything else. Like, why did Biden and Harris think with Mayorkas they could ship in, admittedly, it's way higher, the Border Patrol says, 325,000 kids the last 4 years and disappear them on purpose, many in sex slavery and slave labor. New York Times reported on that a year ago. I mean, what is going on in these people's brains to just press the pedal down, balls to the walls, and do the most heinous crimes they can?
Well, let me say a couple things. First of all, Jeff Clark is one of the most able lawyers I know. He was Assistant Attorney General under the Trump administration. They're trying to destroy him because he had a different legal interpretation of the Electoral College Act than Jack Smith did. They're trying to ruin his life, to try to disbar him, take away his ability to practice law or to serve the next administration. He's a hero. All he did was zealously and honestly put forward his own independent legal opinion. By the way, he's a very, very good lawyer. He's not political at all. He goes by the book. Brilliant guy. They're trying to destroy him. He is. I was glad to see him speak out on this because I think it helped get people to understand what was really going on here. You're right. The folks at the Onion who didn't put up the money necessary to compete in an honest auction, who were somehow pledging some future monies that they were going to get from you, they were, I think, taking their victory lap a little too early here. All we want here is an honest proceeding, and if someone comes along with a better bid and the bankruptcy trustee in an honest proceeding awards it to them, fine. Life will go on. You'll be able to find Alex Jones. I have no doubt about that.
The major central banks.
All right, we'll stop it right there. Oh, that sounded a little loud. Stop it right there. Oh, no. There I am. So, yeah, that's, that's what's been I haven't been on in a while, and it's like, that's what's been going on just in this last few days. Everything's going so quick. It's okay. Life goes on. What else were there? I mean, I think there was other developments. I mean, I really hope, Trump does Cash Patel. I really, I'm sorry if you're in the FBI. I think you ought to, find another job. I'm sorry if you're in the ATF. I think you need to find another job. I'm sorry if you're the NSA. You really need to be reformed, and transparency is needed. CIA, I think you guys got to go. Sorry, you guys are operating domestically. That's been proven. And it doesn't matter if you offshore, if you're offshoring your shit to MI5 or Australia or Canada or whatever, if you're offshoring your intelligence and having other countries spy on us, you're operating inside the United States. That's just it. And so you need to go, a lot of you. And then all those millions and millions of classified documents. It's time to start unclassifying a lot of shit and let the American people see for themselves what's going on. Let's just get the cat out of the bag. You shouldn't have done it in the first place. Should have just, been honest with us. It's our taxpayers. It's our money. I'm a taxpayer. It's our money that floats your shit, and you just keep on printing more and making my money less and less worth of anything. So it's like, fuck you. No. You know what? It's a government whose time has come. It's a government whose time has come, and now it needs a serious reform, and that's why we voted for Trump. That's why that's why you're seeing the huge love for Trump right now. All the people doing the YMCA dance, yeah, doing all that shit, it's because fucking Trump's the man. He's now you shot him. You tried to kill him multiple times. You've made him a cultural icon. You can't kill him now. You probably could, but even if you killed him now, oh man, it would be so much worse. Trump is a moderate. Steve Bannon said this once to a reporter. He's like, Trump is a moderate in our movement. You will look back and you will wish you had the days of Trump again. And man, I agree with him because, like, literally, I love the United States Constitution. I took an oath to uphold it, protect it. All enemies, foreign and domestic. The domestic ones have gotten in charge. You guys went totally against the Bill of Rights. You guys went totally against everything that America stands for. Everything that I knew as a child growing up. I went through economics and civics in fucking high school. I was explaining the presidential roles or powers, and there's like 9 of them. And I was also explaining, the Bill of Rights and all that kind of shit that you guys are trying to subvert. So, no. It's time to bring us back to where we were and give our next couple generations a chance. And hopefully we don't repeat the same mistakes and make some fucking stupid government agency that has a thing with brainwashing the youth. Hopefully they don't call it like they'll probably call it something like the agency of mind manipulation. No, that'd be too much. Maybe, we got to put education in there without calling it the Department of Education, because that's what's going to happen. You know it too. Oh man, these people are fucking horrible. So I know I've done an hour and 30. Wow. Well, close to an hour and 30. So I got to go to bed. But thanks for being there for the last beer. And you all have a good night.